betting podcast for May 16th. I'm Drew Martin. He's Teddy Covers. We're talking NBA playoffs tonight and MLB for the Thursday night slate. Teddy Covers, welcome to the pod. How are you?
Hey, great to be here, Drew. How are you today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man, and you're heating up. 67% all sports last 8 days. So let's see if we can't keep it coming. Check out sportsmemo.com. Teddy Covers handicapper page. He's got 2 plays up, including a 5% Warriors-Blazers Game 2 ticket, which we'll talk about right now. We got Portland at Golden State tonight, Teddy. We got the Warriors from 7.5 down to 7s mostly across the board. Looks like the total's sitting right at 219. What are you seeing here for Portland Golden State tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 5%er here on the total for tonight, so I'm not going to talk about that too much. And, of course, I don't put out a lot of 5%ers, but I think I've had 3 or 4 in the NBA playoffs. But this one absolutely stood out like a sore thumb when it came to the total. I'm going to talk side here for a minute, and we're seeing a fair bit of Blazers money come in. You know, this opened 8, bet down to 7.5 now. Most places are sitting at 7 with Portland. The market's expecting a little bit of a zigzag in this one, and that's fairly typical market reaction to what we see after a game one that Portland didn't play well, and yet, 6-8 point game early in the fourth quarter. They had a chance to make a run. It was Golden State that made the run, and Portland just didn't have any answers on the defensive side of the court. I don't know what changes in that regard for Game 2. It's a Blazers team that is going to have difficulty matching up against the Splash Brothers because they're not switching out on the perimeter like Houston did, and that's, Portland's going to play their defensive game. They don't have a low-post rim protector. Obviously, when Nurkic got hurt, that's what they lost. And that's the trade-off with having Cantor in and Nurkic out. So they don't have a low-post rim protector. And we saw consistently Golden State getting good looks from beyond the three-point line. Those are problems I'm not convinced that Portland's going to be able to solve. The question is whether the Blazers are going to be able to put the biscuit in the basket. They shot 36% from the floor in Game 1, committed 21 turnovers. Damian Lillard's second consecutive rough game. But this time they couldn't get enough from McCollum and the supporting cast to overcome that the way they were able to do in Game 7 at Utah, or at Denver, I should say. But it's a Blazers team that, hey, from a guts perspective, this team is tough. And Damian Lillard has shown plenty of that. And C.J. McCollum has shown plenty of that. And, when Rodney Hood's hitting, he provides some offense. And Cantor's a capable player, but they're not the Warriors. And the markets are saying this is Portland's game to step up and bounce back. I'll just put it this way, not with my money.
Well said, Teddy. And I don't know with my money either, man, but it should be a good night to watch this game. I'm excited to watch the NBA playoffs, and also a bunch on the slate, late night action in MLB for tonight. So even though it's a Thursday kind of travel day, seems like a lot of good matchups on the MLB slate. Let's check it out right now. Let's talk a 6:40 Eastern, 3:40 Pacific first pitch here. We got the Cubs and the Reds in the NL Central. We got Quintana versus Luis Castillo, minus 135 now. The market's loving this guy Castillo. In my opinion, he's one of the best pitchers in all of MLB, Teddy. He's as high as minus 141 right now. He opened minus 112. Huge move towards the Reds at home. Total at 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, since he was probably a pretty good bet earlier in the day, but we've seen a lot of Reds money come in. And, it's a Cubs team that has been obviously playing great. And off a loss, Chicago's been great. I mean, they've been playing as good as anybody in MLB for the last couple of weeks. And finally last night cooled off with a walk-off win for Cincinnati. And the Reds hadn't had a walk-off win since August of 2018. It'd been a while for Cincinnati. So, and the fact that Puig did it, Puig's been slumping. Boy, he had good at-bat. And that was a real good at-bat to win the game for the Reds last night. So a positive momentum boost for Cincinnati. And then they got their ace on the hill today in Castillo. So I'm not surprised at all to see the Reds take some money. They took some money yesterday. I am surprised at how much money they've taken, even though Castillo's allowed, 2 runs or less in every start but 1 this season. But since he's lost 2 of his last 3 starts, and Quintana certainly is no joke, not like the Reds have been pounding lefties all year. All that being said, man, it feels like Cincinnati is a team that offers some value moving forward. I think the Reds' worst baseball may be behind them.
We got St. Louis and Atlanta as well, same time frame here. Wainwright at versus Julio Teheran, excuse me. Braves minus 110 at home. This total ticking up, Teddy, 9.5. It's seeing it as high as 10, with some juice, about normal juice pretty much across the board here. Tick up in the total, and Braves minus 110, Teddy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been kind of a weird series. The Cardinals dominated game one and then got shut out last night. And then here's the finale today. And Wainwright's coming off probably his best start. Maybe his best start in a couple years. 7 innings against the Pirates, gave up just 1 run, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, no walks, got the ground ball outs that he wants. Only 92 pitches through those 7 innings. His quotes coming out of that start was, hey, last year I was laboring. This year I'm pitching. And obviously Wainwright, when he's pitching at an ace level, is certainly a bet on Hurler. But the Cards, they're only 4-4 in his 8 starts this season. I feel like the Atlanta's underachieved a little bit early on. And I thought that yesterday, I'm kind of kicking myself for not playing the Braves yesterday. I thought it was a good bounce back spot for them, and they did. They controlled that ball game. I just talked about Cincy as being a team with some bet on potential moving forward. I think Atlanta might be a team like that as well. Teheran's not a guy I'm in love with, and that Cardinals lineup is capable of hitting mediocre pitching, even though they got shut out yesterday. It's a pick'em game. It feels like a pick'em game. I'm not getting involved.
Teddy, one game I'm interested in on the night slate, we got Williams and Lauer, Pittsburgh at the San Diego Padres. Lauer's a guy I haven't been able to watch too much, but it's kind of an interesting case study here, taking a little bit of money, minus 123 up to what as high as minus 130 now. Total is 7.5. You seeing anything you like in this Pittsburgh-San Diego matchup?
So I'm looking to fade Pittsburgh. I don't think the Pirates are any good. And their bullpen's bad. Their lineup is spotty. And I look at Pittsburgh as a team that has absolutely overachieved through the first quarter of the season, and a team that I want to be betting against over the second quarter of the season. So Pittsburgh, for me, they're cut and dried. I'm looking for spots to fade the Pirates. I think I really think they've overachieved. They're up 5 units right now. They're not going to be up 5 units for long. And I mean, we saw them have a good series at St. Louis. They've taken 3 of the last 4 there. They had a really ugly finale in the loss to Arizona yesterday, 11-1. They started out by giving up 3 runs on a single hit and a bunch of walks and errors. And I mean, it's a Pirates team. I want to fade them. Trevor Williams isn't that guy, though. And I tried to bet against him last time out, and he pitched a gem. The Pirates are 6-2 in his 8 starts this season. He's coming off 7 innings. Strong ball against St. Louis, and that lineup's pretty good. And again, the Pirates have been winning for him all year. So while I want to fade Pittsburgh, here's San Diego coming back to town off another disappointing series against the Dodgers. Their bats haven't been going lately. Lauer's is a guy with some potential, but he's also had his fair share of struggles. So my initial lean was, hey, let's get the Padres, and I didn't get to the window with them. So there's my take on Pittsburgh, San Diego.
All right, we got Toronto, Chicago White Sox. Let's throw this game out there, Teddy. 9.5 the total. Looks like Toronto minus 130 or so right now. Stroman, he's kind of been struggling a little bit. Covey, a guy I haven't been on or against really all season. You looking to get involved here with the Blue Jays and White Sox at all?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because Stroman's numbers are ugly. When you look at 1-6 on the season, and the team is 2-7 in his 9 starts. His last 3 starts, he's given up 15 runs. Last time counts as a quality start because only 3 earned runs in 6.1 innings. And the ground ball outs were there. But again, he hasn't been able to pitch his way out of trouble the way he has in years past. Now, in theory, it's a solid bounce back spot for him against a mediocre lineup. Like the White Sox are tearing the cover off the ball, and not like Covey's any good. That's why we've seen all this over money coming in this ballgame. Covey's advanced metrics are pretty ugly, and his his straight stats are pretty ugly. worth noting with Stroman, he's 1-6 this year. Last year, Stroman was, a bet on guy. And yet you look at the numbers season to season for Stroman on the advanced metrics. He's the exact same guy as he was a year ago. Last year, 5.5 for ERA. This year, 3.12. But the xFIP exactly the same. He's at 3.80 both seasons. So it shows how, especially with smaller sample sizes, don't be fooled quite so much by ERA. We're much more interested in the advanced metric numbers. And the advanced metric numbers say Stroman's the same pitcher this year as he was last year. I said last year was good. Last year he wasn't good. I say 5.54 on the season in terms of the ERA.
All right, Teddy. Guys, we got 3 5% plays up for the night slate tonight. Keep in mind, it's NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs. We got a 5% in each sport. And you can get half off of any and all plays on the website. Teddy's 5% play in the NBA playoffs tonight, that is part of it. Using the coupon code PODCAST at checkout. That will take half off any play on the board, including Teddy's 5% top-rated play, which is rare in the NBA playoffs. You can take half off using the coupon code PODCAST. Teddy, it's only been 11 minutes, man, and we only have 2 games left on the MLB night slate. Any quick thoughts here on Baltimore-Cleveland? Bauer versus Straley looks like almost minus 300 favorite here. Cleveland at home, total of 9. I know these are tough to get involved with, but if you had to bet it, which way would you go?
Indians on the run line. I mean, when you talk about laying, I don't lay $3. I don't get involved in games very often with $3, and when I do, it tends to be on the favorite minus the 1.5. And
even if
the
they're
Indians
at home?
What's that?
Even if they're at home, the 9 at bats, the 8 at bats doesn't bother you?
It's priced into the number. It's priced in. Okay. And that's why you saw something like Houston yesterday where they were like minus 1.5, minus 220 on the road because that extra at bat is priced in. So don't think for a minute that it's not. And no, I'm not afraid to take a home team on a run line in a game where they're going to kill their opponent. Look, Straley's bet against as it gets. All right, the advanced metrics are as ugly as you're going to find. He's a fly baller who doesn't get strikeouts, the tired veteran retread. He's the 5th starter on a last-place team that's going nowhere. Straley's going to get bet against, and he's going to get lit up. Now, it's an Indians lineup that, the second to worst in the American League in runs scored, and number 3 from the bottom in batting average. They've really underachieved on the offensive ends, and I think we saw some signs. They bashed 9 runs against the White Sox in their last outing. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cleveland's offense come to life at least a little bit. Although, maybe the Indians are what they are. Maybe this is a team that's going to bounce around 500 all year. But if I had to play tonight's game, it would be Indians minus the 1.5.
Teddy, if you had to pick who wins the AL Central, who you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Oh, it's a done deal. The Twins have already won.
Wow, I like it. I think the Twins will win as well, but I'm not as confident as you.
Yeah, it's a done deal.
I like it. And, 1 game left here, Teddy, to make it every game on the night slate. Minnesota, Seattle, Pineda versus Swanson. Looks like pretty much a pick-em price here, 9.5 the total.
And quite frankly, I saw nothing in this game that made me say, all right, who should be favored here? I don't know. Look, there's reasons to like Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a better of these two teams. I like Pineda going back to where he started his career, and he had plenty of success pitching in Seattle over the years. All that being said, the quotes coming at us, Seattle kind of had a rough run after they went, they had a 13-2 start. They were hitting all those home runs. Then they fell back, below 500. 3 games under. Now they've won their last 2. The quotes coming out of the locker room were real positive. They're like, hey, we faced the abyss and we've come out the other side now. So I can understand that assessment. Swanson's not a guy that I know a whole lot about, who I've seen yet. Not anyone that I'm particularly excited. The numbers certainly don't stand out in that regard. So, I guess in general, I'd rather be betting on the Twins right now. But, this game really feels pick-em-ish to me. And that's, it's prices to pick them. Therefore, I'm not all that interested in getting involved in this one.
Good stuff, Teddy. We kept it quick, kept it short, and still hit every game on the MLB slate plus the NBA playoffs. I like it. Guys, remember the coupon code PODCAST for half off any play tonight. Teddy's got a 5%er up in the NBA playoffs. Check it out at sportsmemo.com. Coupon code PODCAST at checkout will give you half off. Teddy, anything else you want to throw out before we shut this down?
Hey, I just want to thank the listeners, man. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. Hopefully you got some good info. Hopefully you'll check out the website, sportsmemo.com, at some point in the next 24 hours. Thanks so much for listening. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
Good luck to you, Teddy. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk with Teddy Covers tomorrow, doing the same thing. Same time, same place, same website. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Best of luck with your bets.